I'll do this introduction. National champion, Mike White. Congrats, Coach.
Let's go. All right. I love it. Thank you.
Congratulations, Coach.
Appreciate it.
I was at the celebration Saturday night. Congrats to all you guys. And I was just thinking about driving back to the Houston area Sunday. Now that you've had time to reflect on it, and now you're already in the recruiting, as you said, recruiting gets going right away, but kind of, your thoughts on all of it now, just the game, how the 3-game series played out, winning the national championship, the celebration, just kind of all of it. And have you been to Bob's Chop and Steakhouse yet? That's my number one.
No, I haven't. That's a great point. I'm going to have to take you to visit them pretty soon. But, it's just kind of crazy. You look back on it and you go, we started the season ranked number 1, and then we kind of held that for a good third of the season. And then we went through a little bit of a hiccup and obviously visited Oklahoma and learned a lot about ourselves in that series. We're still in with a shot for the SEC championship. I thought that 5 losses was going to get it done, but it ended up being 7. So just the parity in that conference was unbelievable. And I think we talked about the ability to set us up for later in the season. And I think seeing that pitching depth and that pitching strength, we faced all the best pitchers at the College World Series, pretty much except for Jordy Ball. And we were able to kind of persevere and come through. I know it wasn't without a hiccup or two, so to speak, and some challenges. But as we said all year, bend but don't break. And we certainly were very resilient in that aspect.
You had a number of marvelous performances at the College World Series, whether it was Mia Scott and her play at third base, and then a couple of home runs. Reese Atwood on a 3-0 pitch, sticking her bat out there and knocking in. Tegan Kavan, obviously, 0 earned runs. Jolie Mitchell with a pair of – you just go around your lineup. It felt like it was Leanne Good with a 3-run home run bomb in the deciding game. It felt like a true team win and a true team championship. What are your thoughts on that and what you tried to put together there in Austin?
Yeah, obviously we talk about it. And don't forget Katie Bennett, someone we plugged in there. She got the winning sacrifice fly against Clemson, to walk that off. And so that was, just contributions from out. And we talked about our pitching staff, even though Tegan Kavan was the mainstay. We don't get where we're at without Mac Morgan and Cam Salmon and Gutierrez and Sophia Simpson. She didn't have a huge part of it, but she was still there and worked and pushed everybody and was so supportive and did charts for us. So we had a lot of people doing little things that were big things, including Vivian Martinez, even though she wasn't on the field. Her support for our program and our team and her teammates was unbelievable. She was like having a 5th coach. So really my hat's off for her. And we're so happy to have her coming back next year as well. But, you're looking around it and you're going, okay, what was the secret? What was the secret sauce? And I think it was just the way the team bonded together.
Coach, is that a culture thing? Because anytime we talked to, whether it was Leanne or Caden Henry, they talked about family was one word that kept coming up. And just their ability to, whether it was Vivi's injury or the Oklahoma series, the loss to A&M, being down in the Super Regional, they never panicked. They never flinched. What is it about a group that gets them to that point where in these high leverage situations, they just don't blink?
Yeah, I think that part of it is understanding that, it's going to hit the fan without a doubt. It's in the season sometime or somewhere or somehow. You just never know when. It's always how you respond to it. And I think they were prepared for that. I think they had each other's backs. They understood that, we gave them permission not to be perfect. And if you've ever coached female players, they want to be perfect. They're so driven. They're so want to please you that sometimes they can get in their own way. And we got to say, hey, look, chill, relax, go back and just control the controllables and do what you can do to help the team. And above all, compete. And I think if you look at someone like Mia Scott, Jolie Mitchell, they're competitors. Even Katie Stewart took such leaps forward. One of the things about Katie, so talented and so much power, but she would just get into her own head sometimes and get frustrated. We didn't see that in the College World Series final. She had one point there where Coach Singleton was talking to her. She said, hang on, Coach, I got this. We would never have seen that earlier in the year. So, just constant preparation and just the ability to kind of like take matters into their own hands was a big part of this program's success.
Coach, I wanted to ask you this since the play happened. Take us through Reese Atwood, the at-bat, when Kennedy was trying to pitch out but didn't really get there. Take the Texas fans through that at-bat from your mind and from your eyes and how it all played out.
Well, first of all, understand the situation that she was 0 for 12 at their last 12 at bats. She was 0 for, right? So you talk about respect for a team, and wanting to put it on Johnny Mitchell, which I agree with the situation. I mean, if I was going to do it, you load the bases, a lot of more options and things can happen. But it came through that they didn't practice it. And so you can see it in the setup. I mean, she wasn't using the width of the catcher's box. She was sitting in the middle and just putting her hand out. And the first pitch was like right there. It was like, okay, this is not going to go well if they continue to do that, because Atwood's going to get the green light. And so that was something. So, she looked around at Coach Singleton, who was the closest one to her, because I'm so far down the line. And, Singleton kind of gave her the green light there a little bit and said, hey, if they make another mistake, do it. So next two were pretty close. The third one was there. And, I think it took them by surprise. The shortstop looked like, oh, what happened? And the ball went right by her. It was just a matter of taking an opportunity there and just capitalizing on their mistake.
Did you feel like during that Clemson Super Regional, when you got out of the extra innings, they had nobody out, ladies on third and second, did you feel like this team might be the team of destiny? Or when was it when you went, man, this may be a little something special happening here?
Well, I'm always looking forward. I'm still the cautious one on the group. Singleton is like, hey, man, he's all gung ho. We got this thing. When we just play first game of the season, But I'm always cautiously optimistic, and so it's like, okay, we got a shot here. We just continue to do this because we got Tegan Kavan out there and Reese Atwood and a number of kids returning with experience. And it's just a matter, can we survive and not break, so to speak. And so our ability to kind of survive through that series, it's like, okay, we got a shot here. And then opening up against Florida for the second year in a row, and then really kind of winning that game decisively on a shutout, that was like, okay, we got a shot here. We can continue to win, but can we get past that nemesis of Oklahoma? And that was the next one. And you even thinking, even if we lose that, we go to the bottom bracket, I think we still have a shot, and we can still win our way back through. So, but fortunately, we were able to put together, 3 wins in the winners bracket and get through to that final series, intact.
Hey, Coach had question for you. You went with Tegan Kavan in game 1 against Tech, and then came back with Mac Morgan in game 2. Some people were questioning your decision not to go Tegan Kavan back to back after winning the first game. What in a softball coach's mind, what are you thinking there, changing up from your first pitcher? Obviously, we saw what Najee Kennedy had left in the tank on that Friday matchup. So that ultimately, I think everybody gets it. But is that what you were concerned with, or what was your line of thinking, you and your staffs?
Well, you have to always play the what ifs. You have to be prepared for the unexpected. So the what if was, okay, if we throw Tegan this game and we lose, then she's going to be worn down. That'd be a third game in 3 days. And it's like, okay, we have the hammer here. If we do happen to lose, and we wanted to win that second game, and I think that actually they should have been flipped. We should have lost the first game. We should have won the second game if we didn't beat ourselves. But that aside, it was like, okay, let's roll the dice here a little bit. Even though we weren't really rolling the dice, we still believed in our pitching staff and our team that we could win that game. So, but it was like, let's leave Tegan as our ace in the hole, so to speak. And fortunately, and we thought that, seeing Nyjah 3 days in a row and having seen her, we would be able to adjust and trust in our hitting, and we were able to do that. So kudos to Coach Singh on having his hitters ready to face her for that third time.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you about this. Record viewership for softball.
Yeah.
What is that? I mean, look, that's great for the University of Texas. That's good for Texas Tech and Kennedy. What does it mean for softball as a whole? Because I mean, those are big numbers for 3 straight games.
Yeah, I think they even kind of outdrew it. Just correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's pretty close to outdrawing College World Series in a lot of games, the baseball College World Series, which shows the popularity of the game, the way it's growing. And And I go back to 1996 when the Olympics started, and that's when the women's game took a quantum jump. And obviously some things that we've done over the years, like move the pitching distance back to 43 feet, introducing a yellow ball with red seams, the more lively bats, the consistency in the play itself, the field, the way they've elevated the game. A lot of us gone into it, and now we're seeing the culmination of that, where you have a sport that has power, speed, defense, pitching. It has all the aspects that you want to see, and the people are no more than 25 feet away, at the closest point. And so you're really on top of the game, and it just draws people in. And our problem has always been getting people to come out and watch. Once we get them, they're hooked, no pun intended. But, they are. They just want to keep coming back. And, the support we've been getting is awesome. And to see that with the TV viewership. And then even, let's talk about the fact that we're in Oklahoma City and Oklahoma's not in it.
Yeah.
And we still have pretty packed stands and support. So I thought that was just tremendous to see and great for the game.
Last thing I had for you, Coach, and it's just more for you, not the team, but, I think it was your 8th trip, I believe, to the College World Series. And it's not that you don't have belief you're going to win it, but I just know my dad won one state title in 38 years as a high school football coach in Texas. It's hard to do. Yeah. It creates some long off seasons for you personally to get over that hump and win it. I don't know if you've had time to think about that, but just you personally, what does that mean?
It's a good question, and I got asked this by some players, and actually other people. It's like, because I went to the College World Series 5 times with Oregon, and we got ranked number 1 a couple of times, and we had some excellent ball players. And one of the players, Gwen Savekis, asked me, "So, Coach, what's the difference? Why could we never really get to that final? Because we never even got to the finals. We were always in the semis. I think the semis as far as we got. And what's the difference?" And I really can't put my finger on one thing or anything. All you can think about is that it's a culmination of a lot of things, all that experience of having been there. And, and I had some players transfer with me from Oregon, and they said I was not the same coach I was at Oregon. So it's something that, maybe being a little more lenient in some respects. I used to be pretty much a stickler on a lot of things. And so I've learned that if women want to play well, they got to feel good. Whereas the other guys, they got to play good to feel good. So that's kind of one thing I learned from Mike Candrea. I don't mean that to be sexist or anything, but it really is. Those girls have put so much pressure on them. You just got to let them play. And I think that's been evolution that has come from my days of over the years as an experience as a coach.
Coach, we got a lot of questions in the chat, Dylan, talking about portal and replacing this player. For you and the staff, how long do you give yourselves to enjoy it before you start thinking about what's next?
Dude, we've already got some players coming in, so so it's kind of crazy. And I leave this afternoon for Kansas City to recruit a tournament up there and look at our freshmen coming in. And so the first thing for us is like, we don't want to overload. We don't want to take away opportunities for these talented freshmen coming in. We have 7 freshmen coming in, and we think they all got an opportunity to start. And so if we go and recruit over them, is that really going to help us in the long run, or are they just going to transfer out? Which I can see, and I don't blame them for that. But so we got to be really aware of that and not really over recruit over some talented kids that have coming in. So that's the first thing that we've got to kind of be mindful of. But we're just blessed to have a really good group coming in. I'm excited for that as well.
Coach, you represented the Longhorns. You and your team represented them great in Oklahoma City. Congratulations from all of us to you and your team. National champions. They'll never be able to take it away from you, dude. It'll always be national champion Mike White from here on.
Well, how about that support we had at Saturday at the Combs Field?
It was awesome, Coach. It was standing room only.
That blew me away. I was like,
that was a hot day, Coach. It was a hot day out there.
Yeah, I just got goosebumps thinking about that. And then just all the little girls that were there and just wanted autographs from the players. Man, let's go.
Coach, thank you so much for your time, man. Congratulations. Safe trip to Kansas City today. Enjoy Bob's Chop House, too, at some point when you get a chance.
Hey, do we get an NIL deal from you?
You should get free meals for life.
I wish.